Hello, I'm Joe Haun, the Nevada State Secretary for the Knights of Columbus. In this week's episode, I'd like to talk to you about how to recruit and promote recruiting in your council. So take a few minutes and get ready, and let's dive into and how to motivate your council to recruit. In last week's video, I gave you a major task, which was try to go ahead and sign into the fraternal website. If you weren't able to do it last week, try again this week. Remember how we said how to do that. Go to kofc.org. Go into sign in at the top there, the little blue button. And then once you're on that next page, it's going to ask you for your username, which it can be anything you want it to be. And then the next one is your password. If it's your first time ever logging into the Supreme website, then it is your membership number. If you had held other offices that you already had access to the website, then it should just come right back up as it was before, with the same username and password. Once you're in on the next page, it brings you into your actual portal. At that time, up in the top there, you can change your password to whatever you want it to be. If it's your first time coming into the portal, make sure to change your password, because everyone knows what that first time password is, your membership number. So change that, and then you're good to go. And then review all those different things that are available to you as a Grand Knight or as a financial secretary of your council. So this week I wanted to talk about recruiting and how to motivate your council to recruit. So for me, recruiting is about the 3 P's of recruiting. And so we're going to go through what each one of those are and how they affect your recruiting. And it has nothing to do with going out and actually meeting somebody and giving them the opportunity to become a member of the Knights of Columbus, but yet it's the functions within your parish that will automatically make recruiting much, much more easier for you and for your council members. So a couple of weeks ago, we said that you needed to go ahead and to appoint various people in your council that are not elected officers. And one of those people that we said you needed to appoint right off is your membership director. Your membership director should be a highly motivated, energetic, happy kind of person that really loves the Knights of Columbus, and he's always talking high of it, and people naturally are attracted to him. So that's the kind of guy that you want as your membership director. And he can be anybody in the council. It doesn't have to be one of the officers, but he is the guy that just naturally can recruit people. And that's who you want to be. And then you want to get him to be connected to our state membership director, which of course is Tom Velarde, which is also our state warden. So with that relationship, then the state can then work with your membership director and help him, give him more resources and also connections with other councils and how they are recruiting. So he has then become even better as a recruiter for your council. The next step as a Grand Knight, you need to know the 3 P's that I define them as. And the 3 P's are very important because they are what your council should be doing and how each one of these depend on the other 2. So let's get into what are the 3 P's. The 3 P's are simply your priest, your programs, and your parish. The 3 P's. So without one of those, it makes it hard to do recruiting. Without 2 of those, it makes it harder to do recruiting. And without 3 of those, it makes it very hard to do recruiting. So I'm going to go over each one of these and how they will affect your membership drives and how they bring in new members for you. And then what also will happen if you don't have one of them involved with your recruiting efforts. As you can see, the priests, your projects, your council projects, and your parish are all an integral part. They work together. And you want your priest to come out to all your programs. You want your parish to come out to your programs. You want your programs to be highly geared towards your what the parish needs, and also they're there to support your priest. So the priest is more energized to help support you on your programs. you need your parish, because your parish not only helps with your volunteers to do the programs, but they are also some of the people that will actually participate in your programs, such as maybe have a dinner or a dance or a fundraiser or a march of some sort. All those things depends on your parish, plus the community at large. So that's why all three of these work together. Also, the parish will do pretty much whatever the priest tells them to do. So if the priest says you need to join this group, they're going to join that group because he asked them to do it. And priests are very convincing on how to do something. So let's start with the first one of this, and that is, of course, the priest. As we had mentioned before, your priest is someone that, of course, runs the parish. He is the leader of the entire parish, not your council. As a Knights of Columbus council, and you as a Grand Knight, your responsibility to the priest is to help support him on any of his projects and any of his needs that he may have for the parish. So if he may need a parking lot repaved, then he's going to ask you to help support that. And so then you're going to have to come up with ways to raise money for it, how to get to the parish to get advertise the need for the funds to support the repaving of the parking lot, maybe going out and finding a contractor. Maybe within the Knights of Columbus there's a contractor that can do that service for them at a reduced cost or a competitive bid. There's also maybe a paint guy that can come out and paint the parking stripes. That's also within the Knights of Columbus. There's lots of ways that you as a Grand Knight can help support the parish priest on just that one subject, just how to help him get what he needs for the parish. And in this time of the pandemic, you can imagine there's a lot of need that the parish has right now. So as we come back into the parish and more people return to the parish because of the the rising of the restrictions from the governor, more and more people will be coming back to the parish, and they're all going to have needs, and the priest is going to be the first to hear about it, and then he's going to look for help. And so that's what the Knights of Columbus are here for. The priest is also, if you're supporting him, he's going to find ways to help support you. So if you need more membership, he's going to say, well, I recommend this person, this man over here, and he's going to help bring those guys into your council. It's almost a given if the priest calls somebody and says, I need you to be a member of the Knights of Columbus, and they'll say, no way, I'm not going to refuse the priest. I'm going to do this because he asked me to do it. So that's a very key person in your recruiting efforts. One of the first and probably the biggest P of the three is the priest. The next is projects. Your projects, every single project that your council does is actually a recruiting effort. If you're doing a program, let's say a pro-life program, there's a lot of people in the parish that are fully pro-life, and they want to get involved with pro-life, but they don't know anybody in the parish that does it. And if they find that your council visibly does this and shows that they are actually making an impact for that, such as a march or signs that they are going with or raising funds to help support the pregnancy center, such in Las Vegas, a First Choice Pregnancy Center here in Las Vegas. They have 3 of our ultrasound machines there. And that in the past, I think it is the past 13 years, 15 years. Yeah, 15 years, they have saved over 32,000 lives through that pregnancy center. So that's something that needs to be advertised and shown throughout the parish, that they need to know that, and that who supports that is the Knights of Columbus. No other organization that I know of, at least within the parishes, does that. And so there are people who are very much want to belong to some program that supports pro-life. So that's a great way to recruit. There's other ways. Feed the Homeless is a big recruiting effort. Many people like to get involved with that. And the only people, some of them know that does is Catholic Charities or some other organization. but they don't know necessarily that the Knights of Columbus also does that. And again, in the Las Vegas diocese, they have a monthly deal where they Knights from 3 or 4 councils come out and donate tons of food to help feed the homeless. And so that's something that needs to be advertised throughout all of our parishes. It needs to be visible. They need to know this, because that this is the organization that does that. And again, I don't know what other organization in the Catholic Church outside of Catholic charities that does that. So that's why we need to let people know what our programs are and what they do. Helping Hands, that we go out and help individuals that are in need. The pandemic, we use Helping Hand to help those who can't go out of their homes, or they're quarantined into their homes. We can bring food to them. That needs to be known, that who's doing that. And so these are the programs, all the various programs that we're doing in the 4 different categories. All that should be well publicized in every single parish throughout the state of Nevada. And I guarantee you, if people know what we do, they will join the Knights of Columbus. Those who don't know what we do, what reason is there to join? And those who are members and still don't know what we do, shame on us. We should be making sure that our membership knows exactly what Knights of Columbus does, and throughout the world. The next part, now we just discussed priest and projects. That's 2 P's of what the 3 P's are. The third one is actually your parish. As I was just kind of alluding to here just a little bit earlier, is that if the parish doesn't know what you do, they don't know who we are and what functions we are involved with, they have no reason to really join us other than say, hey, I'm a member of another organization. And what does that mean? You ask somebody, what do the Knights of Columbus do, and they don't have an answer? That's not good. And it's hard to recruit people to the Knights of Columbus if they do not know what the Knights of Columbus does. And there's a lot of things. So if you don't know right now, as a Grand Knight, what the Knights of Columbus does, I can help you with that. And any other officer and any district deputy can. And most other councils can help you with that. And when you go to the DD Grand Knight training, come ask us. We have books. You have a magazine that comes out to you every month that's loaded with what the Knights of Columbus does. You should be able to pull that out at any time. You should be able to read the magazine and know these programs. Look in the back section of the Columbia magazine, and there it lists out all these different councils and what they've done and what programs they've done and how they support their communities, their parishes, their church. All that's there. So you should be well informed. And not only you, but all your council officers, you should make sure they know. And then also all the members within your councils, as many as you can, to get them to know. Because if they're fully confident in what they do and what the Knights of Columbus does, then when someone asks them, what's the Knights of Columbus, they can rattle it off. In fact, the other person may say, can you stop? I mean, and then it's too much information overload. So that's what you want to purvey to them is the Knights of Columbus does so much. And so what are you interested in? What about the Catholic faith are you most energized about? And they said, well, I don't know if the Knights of Columbus does this or not, but there's people that are intellectually challenged, and my son is intellectually challenged, and or my daughters are intellectually challenged, and there's only so many organizations that help out with that and here locally, and they all need money and they all need help and support in their programs and everything. And then at that moment, that Knights of Columbus is the largest contributor to the Special Olympics here in Nevada at the state level of almost all other organizations. I think the only people who give more than what the Knights of Columbus does is the first responders, the police and the fire. Outside of that is the Knights of Columbus is the largest contributor to the Special Olympics program in the state of Nevada. And that's a big statement, and that's a lot of money that's being poured into that program, and volunteer time up in Reno, the councils in Reno and Sparks, they all send volunteers into the Special Olympics. It's a big item up there. And we have the shirts that they make, the T-shirts that the kids wear for the Special Olympics. They have the logo of the Knights of Columbus on their shirt, along with all the police department and fire department. Those are the sponsors of the Special Olympics. And so that's something you can target right in. As soon as they say, yeah, that's something I really want to see the church, you can say, we already are, and this is what we do. If they say they want to feed the homeless and they don't know how to do it, you can say the Knights of Columbus is already involved with that. We send tons of food every month into that program, and we help feed the homeless at downtown or in Reno or wherever you are at. And you can instantly target right in on it. So, but that's because you know what the Knights of Columbus does in the state of Nevada. So you need to make sure you know everything about what the Knights does. And most of your council members should also know, and some of them may not. And but they should be told that, hey, if you have somebody that you think can be a Knight that goes to our parish, and you're kind of scared to go talk to them, let one of the people who know more about the Knights of Columbus go talk to them, and they can then inform them about what the Knights of Columbus does in the state of Nevada. And that's what the 3 P's are: your priest, your programs, and your parish. So let's see what happens if the parish isn't totally aware of what the Knights of Columbus does and how that impacts the 3 P's. Well, first of all, if your priest loves the Knights of Columbus and sees them as a benefit, the priest and the council does not talk about what the Knights of Columbus does with the parish, though, and the community, then the parish won't know what you do. If the priest don't talk about what the Knights does with the parish and other members at Mass, then they're not going to know much about what Knights of Columbus does. If your council, if your programs don't really advertise your programs to the parish, they're not going to know what programs you do. So, of course, they're not going to be involved. They're not going to come out to the programs, and they're not going to be joining the Knights of Columbus. You can have lots and lots of projects that you may do, but if you don't send out flyers and advertisements on it, or at least a follow-up after the program's completed, and to let the parish say, hey, thank you so much for coming out and help supporting this program. This is what we were able to do. This is how much volunteers we had. This is how much money we raised, and this is where it's all going. Thank you so much, parish, for helping us out, and also thanking Father for his support in your program. That's what you should be doing, but if you're not, your parish is not going to know what you did. So, and again, of course, for all that, if your priest is not talking about what the Knights of Columbus, and you as a council is not talking about what you do as a Knights of Columbus, then the parish is going to be blind. They're not going to know, and they're not going to want to be recruited into an organization, as far as they know, doesn't do anything except a bunch of old men getting together every so often. How often, who knows? So that's what happens if the parish is not involved. What happens if the parish knows about you guys, knows about the Knights of Columbus, knows about the council? The parish is doing, the council is doing a lot of projects, and the council is doing a lot of projects, but the parish is involved also with those. But both of those are great, but the priest, he doesn't know much about what you do. He knows you do things. Seems like when he finds out that you're doing something that's at the last minute, it's suddenly you run up to, hey, can you come over to dinner with us tonight? Well, no, I have commitments already, so he doesn't know what you're doing. And, so of course he's not going to talk much about what you do to the parish either. So a priest who doesn't know nothing about the Knights, he doesn't see any benefits in the Knights of Columbus. He doesn't see much more than a gentleman's club, just where a bunch of guys hang out together and just form relationships. And that's about all. He doesn't know much more about the Knights of Columbus. He doesn't come to your meetings. You don't go and have meetings with him and let him know what you're doing, what you have done, what you are going to do. how you're helping him and his parish by giving him funds to help support his programs. If you don't do these things, he's not going to be much in support of you. Number two, the parish does know about the Knights of Columbus, but knows the priest is not in support of them. It's pretty obvious that the priest is not talking about the Knights of Columbus. Well, they kind of pretty much guess he's talking about. They pretty much guess that he doesn't really support the Knights of Columbus, and if we're not being involved with him, he's probably going to have somebody else drawing his attention that he's going to talk about because he knows what they do. So that's why we want to be with the priest as much as possible and in line with him. And if we're showing support to him and giving him support, he's going to talk about the Knights of Columbus, and he's going to help us recruit more people into our council. Another number three is that if we're not informing the priest of what's going on, that means that most of our projects that we're doing, they're not going to be in support of the parish because we don't know what the priest wants. We don't know what his priorities are if we're not involved with him. And so that's why it's important to meet with him on a monthly basis and seeing what's going on and how we can help the parish. And if you're not doing that, well, there's a missing link here. So, and that's what happens is that you do a lot of projects to fill your requirement, but these projects may not be what the priest needs for that parish. And so, in turn, what happens if you don't have a priest in support of you, your recruiting will be highly impacted. The third P again, projects. If the council is not doing projects or doing very few projects, and they're not doing hardly anything except maybe having a monthly meeting, that has an impact also on recruiting. There's a reason why the Supreme requires 4 programs in each of the 4 categories. That's 16 programs, a little over 1.3 programs a month, because you're actively involved in your parish. If you're not doing the required minimum, then you're doing far less, then you're not actively involved in the parish. So the priest has a difficult time to support Knights and sees no benefit in them. He doesn't see any benefit in them because they don't really do anything. Again, they're more like a gentleman's club, and once in a while they do a program, raise some money, and where that money goes, who knows? So that makes it hard for the priest to support the Knights of Columbus. He may love the Knights of Columbus, they may do things for him, but when it comes time to describe that to the parish, he can't really tell them much what the Knights do because you're not doing any programs, and that's not good. Secondly, the parish does not know who the Knights are or what they do, and the reason for that is because, again, you're not visible, you're not being seen, because you're not doing any programs, you're not setting up flyers and letting people know what's coming up next month, what programs are next on the list. You're not picking Family of the Month, the Night of the Month. You're not doing a dinner or something, not celebrating Christmas with everybody. You're not, all these programs have an impact, and if you're not doing these programs and advertising, letting people know, then if the parish doesn't know what you're doing, they're not going to be interested in joining the Knights of Columbus. If the priest doesn't know what you're doing, then he's not going to be out there touting the Knights of Columbus. And it all stems from doing programs, and programs that the priest needs for his parish, programs that the parish need and want and will participate in. And, so if you have a parish that is Hispanic and you don't really do, a large group of them are Hispanic, and you don't really do any Hispanic programs in your council, well, then you're not supporting your parish. And that's programs that they need and want, and so you should be involved with that. If you got a large Filipino group, you should be doing something towards them. A large Korean group, a large whatever. If you have a younger, if you have a huge younger teenager to 30-year-olds that attend Mass, then you shouldn't be necessarily doing a whole lot of programs for older people that are 50, 60, 70, 80 years old, but also diverse a little bit and bring in some younger person programs that they would be interested in, such as dances and things that have their kind of music on it. Obviously, the music I listen to is not the music that a 20-year-old listens to. So you got to think about these things and gear your programs to meet your parish needs, that the parish needs and wants, and the priest needs and wants. So you can see the importance of all three of these P's working together: the priest, your projects, and your parish. If all three are working together, then the parish will then attend the council projects and meetings and everything. Even with attendees, they'll have a lot of people coming out from the parish, and the priest will be there. On top of that, the priest will know who you are as the Knights of Columbus and what you do, and that you're very visible, and he can use you in many ways to help support his programs. And the projects are all the projects are all designed to meet the needs of the parish and the priest. And that's a complete triad of support. And it all depends on one another. And if one doesn't work, the other ones will suffer. So if you're trying to promote recruiting, remember the 3 Ps. So as I do in every video, I like to leave you with a task. And this week's task is only one, and it's pretty simple. And I know most councils try to do this, but I expect you to do this in your council, and that is to meet with your parish priest. You need to do it as soon as possible. You set up a 30 minutes if you can, or an hour, and then sit down and talk with him about what the council can do for him, what he needs from the Knights of Columbus. If he needs support and rebuilding a park area, or he may need help with volunteers to help support religious ed, or he may need help with the festival for this year. Whatever it is that he needs, you can say, we can help you with that. Because if you do that, then you gain the support of the priest. But not only saying that you can do that, but follow through and do it. And as long as you keep following through, he will depend on the Knights of Columbus more and more, and which is what we want. We want the priest to think of the Knights of Columbus first before anyone else if he has a need of something. And that's what we're here for. We're here to support our priest. And that's your responsibility as a Grand Knight of your council, is to draw that connection really tight between your council and your parish priest. Next, task number 2, I'd like for you to review all of your programs and review them, if you can, with your parish priest and say, how can we modify this program a little bit more to where it's more towards what your needs are for the parish? And getting his input on what the council is doing is majorly important. And the more you get him involved with our programs, the more he supports the Knights of Columbus. Next thing the next task number 3, is why don't you have a chance. I know some of us are having a hard time going to Mass right now, but we do know people that are in our parish, and to call them if necessary and ask them what would they want the Knights of Columbus to do for the parish. Maybe they would like to have something to hang up in the front of the church, some sort of welcome or greeting to people as they come in to the parish church, and as they come in, and they can see, a sign that says, we welcome all to our Catholic church, or something like that, or maybe they can think of, there's certain areas of the rectory is dirty and all the time, or it looks like it's getting a little worn out. Maybe we can get that worked on. Hey, there's a program we can do, fix that. So the parish can tell us. Maybe they say, I'd like to see some prayer groups for that happens every Wednesday or something, or at least once a week a rosary done or something. Well, the Knights of Columbus does a rosary, and it's one of our programs, and that would fill the need of the parish. So just by doing a quick little survey, asking people what they are needing, and not necessarily you as a Grand Knight, but the other officers, ask them also to ask other parish members to what they would like to see happen in the church. And once you get this list going, you start to get a lot of ideas, and you'll find there's a lot of programs that a Knights of Columbus could do in their own parish. And the final task number 4, is that I would like for you to look at what happened last year. Did you recruit 1 member? Did you recruit 20 members? Did you meet your quota? Or did you not meet your quota? Or did you far exceeded your quota? Now this is important because successes, you need to learn from them. Why was it successful? And the same token goes for failures. Why did we fail at recruiting last year? What happened? And the answers sometimes are obvious and sometimes they're not. And you can't necessarily fix every problem. One step at a time. So you look at it and say, well, we didn't really make recruiting a major topic until the last 2 or 3 months of the year last year. Well, maybe the answer to that is we need to stress it throughout the year this year and make every month a goal to hit a certain number for recruiting. If we exceed that, great, but the following month it's still that minimum number. We keep pushing on that minimum number because of that minimum number, each month we'll reach our quota. But maybe that's what you need to do this year. Maybe you had a very successful last year and got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 stars as council. Well, that's great. Is that something you can maintain this year? Can you do 6, 7, 8, 9 stars again this year? Or maybe the goal this year is just to get a couple of stars, or at least a star council is the initial goal. What made it so successful last year that it didn't happen years before? Find out what it is and then repeat it, because obviously it worked last year. It's going to do again this year. So always study the past, and if you understand what happened then you can make corrections, or you can continue doing it if it was a major success. So take a look at these things, and that'll help you throughout this fraternal year. So we're already in the middle of the month of July. It goes by pretty quick. And so next weekend, we're going to be in Reno and at the Immaculate Heart Church, Catholic Church, where we'll be doing our DD and Grand Knight training and Financial Secretary training for the Reno Diocese area, which stretches all the way to Elko and back to Reno. And then the following weekend, on the 25th, we'll be here in Las Vegas at Our Lady of Las Vegas, meeting again with the DDs, Grand Knights, Financial Secretaries of each council for the Las Vegas Diocese. And we're going to do a whole lot of training of what you need to be doing and preparing you to be a Grand Knight. But hopefully these videos have got you kind of a head start coming into that meeting, and you're going to be well prepared and excited. And then you're going to have a great year this year. So whatever happens at these meetings, I will still be putting out videos every week. Go ahead in the bottom. Go ahead and click the like button, of course, but also you want to become a subscriber to this channel. So every time I upload a video, which is only once a week for the Knights of Columbus, you'll be notified immediately. So you don't have to wait till the email comes out and all that, but you'll get a notification immediately, so you can go ahead and watch that video, and they'll tell you what you should be doing this week and next week, and keeping you on track to meet your goals for your council. So that's my main intention. There are other people who will give you details, the chairmen and directors and other people that can give you all the details and all the different forms. But what I'm trying to do each week is to set you up for success for this year and to keep you on track. And if you follow my advice, by the end of the year, you'll have a major accomplishment for the year, and you'll have a council will gain all kinds of accolades from everybody, and it's a good feeling when that happens. And it's you don't want to be the council that doesn't get anything. So trying to get something is better than nothing. But we want every council to be a star council in the state of Nevada, and we want their quotas to be hit and just have one heck of a year. So that's up to you, and I know you can do it. So congratulations, Grad Knight. We'll talk to you next week.